Earlier today I made a post about the flesh being weak, and you know how the spirit is always willing, but it's always a battle between the two. So today I had that experience in my own walk where you know, I wanted to go hand out flyers, but the flesh was like, no, you know, it's too early, or the flesh was like, oh, you know, take a nap. And so ultimately the Almighty was like, but what if while you're sitting here catering to the flesh, what if I have somebody who I want you to meet, you know? So you're over here trying to take a nap, but, you know, I've got somebody on the street that I want you to go, you know, hand a card to, who I want you to outreach to. And so ultimately, you know, I did the right thing and I agreed with the spirit, and I went and handed out the cards. And the cards are simple, you know, they're just on the front it's just the name, and then on the back it's just about obedience, you know, keeping the commandments and the importance of keeping the commandments. So anyway, so I was handing out cards or whatever, and there's this restaurant, and there was 4 guys over there. And at first I wasn't going to go over there, but then I decided to go over there anyways. And the first man I ran into was a guy on a motorcycle with his son. And I handed him a card, and then I went to go hand the other 3 gentlemen a card. And then before I could leave the restaurant parking lot, excuse me, the guy comes up to me and he goes, you know, he points to the front of the card. He goes, you know, I always thought this was the name. And then we start to have dialogue about the name. You know, and he's like, you know, what do you think about the name? And I explained to him that ultimately I feel like the name the translation has been lost through, you know, time and seasons and stuff like that, and just through captivity and stuff like that. And he agreed, and he asked me, you know, was this group here? And I explained to him, no, that there's still no states, that, you know, we're trying to relocate here, you know, because he was interested. And so which is a blessing, right? So here comes the fruition of me not wanting to get up, but then me listening to the Spirit. You know, so we talked a little bit more or whatever, and he said he was going to add the group on Facebook, which is a huge blessing. Ew. Sorry. Spider. So anyway, so he's going to add the group or whatever, and, you know, we'll see what comes of it. But, you know, it's always a blessing when you have the struggle, and then you see the reaping, you know, of, you know, listening to the Spirit versus listening to the flesh. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I do have one regret though, which is I didn't bring enough cards with me. Lack of faith, I guess. You know, I was like, at first I had grabbed a bigger stack and I was like, oh, I don't need that many. And then I ended up on my way. Right before I got back home, I walked past 2 women who I would have loved to have given cards to. And so anyways, lesson learned. I guarantee you next time I won't run out of cards. Also, you know, we all need to get out there. It can't just be the brothers on the street corners. You know, we're all responsible for getting this gospel out, and a lot of it is just being the light of the world, being salt of the earth. If you're on your job site and people can't tell the difference between you and your coworkers, and there's a problem with that, you know, we should always be set apart. There should always be a difference in what we say and what we do, how we eat, how we breathe, how we think. Everything should be different about us. Only thing that should be the same is that we believe the same color. So ultimately, you know, make sure that your life is according to, you know, how the Almighty would be proud of. You know, make sure that you're my neighbors are funny. I don't even know what's going on over there. It sounded like a party, but now it sounds like a wedding. I don't know. They're obviously trying to work on their DJ skills. So anyways, you know, just make sure that you're living something that you'd be proud of, to stand before the Almighty and say, you know, I am a son or daughter. You know, that He won't say, get behind, you know, go from me, that I never knew you. So anywho, I love you guys much to y'all. I'm back. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of the Shabbat, and Shalom.